People say you must respect each era, but the past eras don't respect this era.
I don't think that's true.
Shit, me. You don't see some of the things these guys say?
The respect from the old is really, do the young dudes fuck with us? Do they know who we are? That's why you get a lot of hate from the older generation, because they just want to be kept alive. One era always think that the other era is sorry until you leave the game and have an appreciation for the talent that you had to play against.
I disagree in the fact that no, like these eras don't respect us. Like I've seen several guys talk over and over and over again, not in a positive light. I don't think that respect is passed down to us from the other generations, but I think people are quick to say, oh, you got to respect them because they came before. I don't agree with that.
You absolutely have to absolutely respect the people who came before you, because
my respect is earned. And what you did to somebody else don't necessarily earn you respect. Just because you played before me does not mean you deserve respect. I'm sorry, but God had in his plan for you to be born before me and you just deserve respect because of that? Nah, my mom ain't raised me that way. Respect is earned.
I had a Hall of Famer come up to me and said to me, quote, Steph Curry would not have averaged more than 17 points a game. And now obviously, I think that person should have been drug tested. When he said that, but then I quieted down because he wasn't talking about his skill set. He said, in our era, we'd have hurt him. He said, we would have hurt him. He said, he would have had to run through picks. He wouldn't have been as protected by the officials. The game was exponentially more physical now than it was then. Remember when he came into the league with the ankle injury? He'd have never recovered from that with us. We had to make sure we would have tripped him every chance we got. They weren't talking about basketball. They were talking about this is the elements that come with the game that we had to endure, that these guys don't have to even think about. Now, of course, from a talent perspective, the talent is clearly superior now to what it once was. Evolution kicks in. You learn from the predecessors. You take it to another level. There's no surprise there. But the problem is when they were playing, they were judged so harshly. And all of those things were taken into consideration that they look at it now. Rule changes, no hand checking, the absence of physicality that exists now compared to what once was. The road traveled was far less arduous than it is now in their eyes. And they're saying, if these brothers had to go through what we went through, and so when they're hearing these players talk, they expect to hear that level of appreciation. And when these guys don't sit up there and say, damn, I'll put you this way, close it by saying this. If today's players came out, and I'm not saying they should, I'm just talking about them compared to old players. If today's players came out and said, man, I'm glad I wasn't playing during y'all era. Hell, I'd have got mugged. They'd beat the hell out of me. If they said something like that,
ends the whole thing.
That ends everything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm saying to you, they would have been like this. Today's players, if today's players did that, the guys would go like this. All those old school guys would stand down.
I just feel like we spend so much time praising the past generation that we don't focus enough on the current generation. And I think it's hurting the NBA. And in the conversation, we don't do this in any other sport. We don't do this in any other sport besides the NBA, and we do it on the show.
That's not true.
Constantly.
That's not true.
Yes, we do. We celebrate the past, and not today.
I'm talking about not other sports. That's not true. I don't care what sport we're talking about. We always compare eras. We always do, no matter what sport it is. The NBA feels that way, what you just said. The players feel that way. That's what you just said. I understand that part. But the flip side to it is this. If a standard of greatness has been established and somebody's comparing you to that greatness, we're saying you're great.
YouTube, what's going on, man? I'm back in my vehicle, in my truck, not in my car. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting a little higher and it look a little brighter because in my car's a little darker because I'm not a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? But what's going on today? About to head to work. But, you know your boy, man. I got to bring up with the trending topics. Whatever's trending, I got to get my opinion. That's a bar. Yeah, but I want to talk about that Draymond Green. You know, a minute ago, you know, when Stephen A was beefing with LeBron James and they was going back and forth, I see Draymond Green go on his podcast with Baron Davis and he tell his opinion. He talks about how Stephen A is covering LeBron James. And I know I kind of agree with, you know, one thing about it, I might not like Draymond Green as a basketball player like that, even though he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. You got to give it up. I don't really like Draymond Green as a basketball player, but when he's talking about basketball and on his podcast, man, he has a real good podcast. And I'm right there level with him. I agree with what he was talking about how Stephen A was coming at LeBron, how all of a sudden he say it's about LeBron and MJ. The LeBron has a problem with him because LeBron says that Stephen A don't think he's the GOAT. And he's running with that like that's the problem LeBron have with him. When LeBron had clearly told him it's about his son, stop talking about my son. You know what I'm saying? Which any man should stood up and talk about. You know what I'm saying? Which Draymond Green agreed with him. And how LeBron is covered sometimes like it's never about basketball. Like if it was anybody, like Gilbert Arenas got a son that's coming into the NBA. I don't think whatever he get drafted, wherever he come out, you know what I'm saying? I know he's going to college first, to US, but however he comes out, they not going to be covering Gilbert Arenas' son like they're covering Bronny James. So I think that's what LeBron James had a problem with. But on today's show, on First Take, Stephen A, he be having topics he want to talk about, and he'll let like Molly line the topics up, and then it's something he wants to get off his chest, you know what I'm saying? So he do it like that. So Molly lined the question up about how do he feel about Draymond comments about new era and the old era of basketball, how he feel about it. Do he agree with Draymond Green and what he said about different eras of basketball and the respect level the older generation gives the younger generation and the reverence the younger generation has for the older generation? what the disrespect and the respect is missing to both eras, you know what I'm saying? So LeBron James really took that. Stephen A. Smith really took that question, and he went so far off topic. He started talking about podcasts and all these things about how the game was more physical. That's why they don't have the respect and all that. And Molly kind of threw it in his face like, no, that ain't what he talking about. Like, why they ain't just keeping it about basketball? Why it has to do about everything else? He say, because Stephen A. was talking about off the court, the older players have a problem. I was kind of confused with the question too. If you look on the show, Molly, McNutt, and Russo, they all was sitting up at their desk looking kind of confused, and he had to keep trying to explain where it was. You can look at his body language like it didn't even make no sense what Stephen A. was talking about. But Molly called him out on it, and I usually don't like Molly butting in, but she called him out on it, and he got frustrated, like he wanted to go off on her or something, you know what I'm saying? Because she said a good point. She like, no, they just asking them guys to keep it basketball, and what does that have to do with anything else off the court when it's raining outside? But Stephen A. he seems like he's still butthurt, like he still has a problem with LeBron. Draymond Green rode with LeBron on his side of the on the side of it, and now Stephen A. has a problem with Draymond. I think, like LeBron said, this dude went on a tour on Everybody Podcast saying what he wanted to say. Now any backlash he get from that situation, he's trying to cover himself. On First Take, he's on this show yelling at the screen, yelling about this, about Draymond Green. So he gonna bring up Draymond Green situations on the court, talking about what he done did to people on the court can lead to him, like later on in his career, like if he want to be, you know what I'm saying, like like basically doing what Stephen A. do on one of them shows, like how what he does on the basketball court can affect his after basketball career. And then Draymond Green was looking kind of like lost, like what they got to do with anything? Why are you bringing up, like, especially after you said if LeBron would have did anything, you would have swung on him. So, you know what I'm saying? I think Draymond, I remember that show. Draymond Green was saying, don't talk all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then when I see you and we're in front of each other, you know what I'm saying, we bow down. Say what you was fit to do. And if this would have happened, he say, I wasn't raised like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about me. You can't say certain things about me, because how we was raised up, we gonna see you with these. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what he was saying. He wasn't saying he was gonna hit nobody. Stephen A. was the one talking about swinging on somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I think I am in agreement with the younger players, because they do get a certain level of disrespect for the older players. Like, just these guys that paid the weight, and they should be appreciated. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of the players do appreciate them. Look, when they do a who's the best player of all time, Michael Jordan still get the top vote. If they didn't respect that era, everybody would ride with LeBron. Like, they respect that era. Like, when you watch a basketball game, everybody's playing basketball in Kobe Bryant's. Everybody playing basketball still in Jordans and stuff like that. Like, it's a respect. So people respect the path that another person created. But what the younger players are saying, their respect don't go both ways. It's just like a constant jealousy from the older players when it gets to the younger players about, oh, we had a more physical game. They had it easier than what we had. And if you can think about any generation, it's gonna always be like that. Like the people that come first gonna probably have a harder time at whatever they doing. I don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball, just basically living life. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll hear a story from your grandma saying, we used to walk to school. You hear stories about your mama saying how we got it made. They used to have to walk to school. Now I look at my kids now and I call them soft. Like from what I do and how the world is and how everything is now right at your fingertips, where a lot of things you had to do for yourself. Like this new generation has it easy, and it ain't just basketball or football, but we can't be jealous that the guys are making all this money. Like the older players can't be jealous that these guys are making all this money and they paved the way. I thought that's what you paved the way for. You can't pave the way for these players to do this and do that, and then you get mad at them for being in the situation of the, you know what I'm saying, that has something to do with the way you paid for them. You know what I'm saying? You should be happy. Like what we did worked. Now the next generation has an easier time living their life, playing basketball, training, putting themselves in a position where they can be better players. You know, you can't be mad about that. You can't fight for the situation, and then when the situation happens for the next generation, you're mad at the situation. But I think Stephen A, man, he just looks so shaky on that show. Lately, like I watched this guy talk about Stephen A, look like he's stressed out. He looked like he's stressed out lately. I don't know if they got him doing so much. I don't know if he got the pressure of him getting this money that's on his back. But lately he don't look like himself. You know what I'm saying? He been looking a little shaky on topics, and he been just talking like, and you know what I'm saying? He's not even, a lot of time he goes so far off topic. And that didn't always been Stephen A. That's how he do it. He'll take you somewhere else. He'll take you all the way around the corner to get back to the point. That's how he always look. I've been watching First Take for a long time, and Stephen A for a long, when Stephen A was just coming on with Skip, you know what I'm saying? So I've been watching the show for a long time. So the way Stephen A is now and how he talk now, he didn't always act like that. You know what I'm saying? And I watched Marcellus Wiley say, ever since T.O. said that Max Kellerman was blacker than Stephen A, you could tell in certain instances, like when things bother him, it bothers him. Like Nick Wright saying that the only reason he think Michael Jordan is really the GOAT and he don't have certain kind of reverence for LeBron James is because Jordan texts him and LeBron James don't have no conversation for him. So it seems like that. You know what I'm saying? If you pay attention, that's what it seems like. You know what I'm saying? But tell me how you feel about it, man. I'm just telling you my opinion. I like to know people's opinion. You know what I'm saying? If you feel different about it, let me know. Explain to me. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what's going on. But what side are you on? Are you on Draymond Green side or are you on Stephen A side? You know what I'm saying? Let me know, man. Like, comment, subscribe on my video. I'm out.